So my computer attempted to take away, attempted to take away our on-time gang, affiliations here. I'm just getting set up. I had to restart my whole computer because OBS refused to open. We're good to go. I think we're good to go. Feels like we're good to go. Let me get the chat over here. Let me get everything set up. How's everyone doing? Anyone sending chat messages? I'm just getting to see. I'm gonna miss all the chat messages before this because of the whack PC going on. But we made it though. We got here on time. It almost took it away from us. That would have hurt me real bad, if it was up to the internet to do this. So I'm just getting set up here, getting all of my stuff open back up so that we can be good to go. But I hope everyone's doing good today. Happy Monday. Welcome to the final week of Mastermind Academy. Good to have you. So excited to be here. Congratulations on getting this far. Whoops, not open that. Almost there. Just getting all set up. I hope everyone's doing well. I have to go cut on this fan really quick. Let's see. What's up, Delarus? What's up, Sharky Shreds? What's up, Bevy of Codes? I don't know who was first. Maybe I can see who was first. Let's see. Where's the chat pop out here that I can see? I don't know who was first, but whoever was first, congratulations on being first today. I'm sorry that I was not first. Hold on. Everything's off. MG. Couldn't have been anyone else. But yes, we've I tweeted it out just in case, so everyone knew, like, if I was gonna be late, like, it hurt my heart to almost be late. And my computer's been like, so my computer has I've got two M.2 SSDs in here. I've got two NVMe SSDs in here, and one of them I think is wreaking havoc on my computer. I think it may not be seated properly, but it's the one in the most awkward space. I have to take like my computer halfway apart to get back to where it is, and I think I need to so it reads sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. And whenever it gets into that weird state, it messes up all of my storage for some reason, and my computer starts to do weird things. So I do need to fix that because that's going to be problematic in the future, but not a big deal. Almost ready. I'm just grabbing everything. Alrighty, so tonight we have the exciting world of security. It's a little bit facetious there, but security is a pretty cool, it's a pretty big thing. It's pretty important. We're going to go over a lot of security principles and practices, a lot of things that they cover on the exam, but there are many more things that you can do to practice security within your AWS environment. And we're going to touch on a lot of those things. I did not know HashiConf was today. If I had known, I would have attended. I would have watched it for sure. Because I actually want to. I would love to run I'm thinking about running an entire Terraform course. Because I think HashiCorp's tools are pretty good, pretty cool. Let's see, last piece. Let me get you all. I don't think I got you the slides. So let me get you the slides. Let me check it. See, maybe they already released. If not, head over to the classroom. I'm going to paste them in right now. Horizon, classwork, 15. Topic 15, security. No cool name today because security is security. Maybe it's security with an exclamation point to make it exciting. Security, make it a little bit exciting. And we'll add in the material here and slides. Add file. No, file. First off, it's also storming very badly here. So hopefully nothing happens with that. Good luck to my internet. Good luck to my power as well. If it goes out, give it a few. Check out my Twitter. I will tweet if anything like that does happen. Let you know what's going on, if that should be the case. But these storms have been pretty wild over the past few days. Okay, Where are we? So the slides are now in Google Classroom, and we'll just hop into those. I'll actually just pull this over, and we'll get back into Academy view, and I'll leave that up for now. But I want to give you all a little bit of information about what's coming up for the rest of this week that I'm pretty excited about. One, if you are in tonight, we're gonna wrap up the main content for the apprentice level of Horizon. So you've gotten to the end of the actual content. Tonight's the last piece of content, and then on Wednesday we will be talking to a couple of engineers from different backgrounds. Some engineers who do all engineers who work with the cloud, but we have some SREs, we have some DevOps, systems admins, developers as well, that you can come ask whatever questions you want to about their career, about what they think you should do next, what they think you should hop into, very specific questions. If you want to ask technical questions, whatever, it's gonna be a time to just get together and have a little bit of fun. So I think that'll be cool. And the development one is on Thursday, so if you're interested in doing any software stuff, I think that one is also going to be very valuable to the people who want to do cloud stuff as well. I think all of these technical discussions are relevant across the board, especially the questions about navigating the industry for people who are switching careers or whatever. I think there's some good information. There's usually a lot of good questions about interviewing and things like that, so check those out. First, and has sent a message asking, please check a whisper in a while, possibly. Oh yes, the last Google Home. I actually have an idea for the Google Home. I'll give you information about that. I have an idea for the last Google Home. Yes, you did send that. I did not check the whisper, but I do have some information about the Google Home. I'll check your whisper first before I give you that. I'll check it in a second. To watch, I'll go back and watch those. It's 22 to the 24th. Cool. Is the main keynote for HashiConf the first day? I know a lot of conferences don't have this on the first day now, but I'll definitely check out what they have because they usually have some cool stuff. I had something else for you all. Yes, also the schedule for what happens after this will go out at the end of the week. We'll go out either Wednesday evening or Thursday evening about what's next. In the interim, we're going to be doing a couple of different things in between this and the second level of this, the journeyman level of this, intermediate sessions. We'll be doing a number of things. We'll be doing a couple of series to really cement people's core concepts and certain things. So we'll be doing a Linux kind of boot camp or Linux series so people can get comfortable with Linux, get comfortable with the CLI. Really, that's mostly what I want you to know. As well as Linux stuff. We're gonna be building, there's gonna be another series where we're kind of building that open source app that I was talking about as well. And then we're also going to dive into a container series as well. These will all be pretty short. None of these will be crazy long, not 8 weeks or anything like that. A couple sessions, maybe 4 sessions a piece, 3 or 4 sessions a piece. But the schedule will come out for that pretty soon. And then we'll dive into the next one. Pipelines is also going to start running. Again, it's going to start back up and it's going to be changing a little bit, but I think it's going to be much better than what we started with, but it's going to be the same concepts, just taught in a little bit different of a way. So anyone who's interested in pipelines, we will absolutely be doing that. But yeah, scheduled to come very, very soon. Busy week, but I'll get it all to you. But tonight, none of that matters because we are doing AWS security in the cloud. And this, as boring, to me, this is not the fun stuff. Because, I'm a hands-on engineer, this is not the fun stuff to me. It is extremely important to everything that you do. These are things that you got to keep in the back of your mind at all times. Not even in the back of mind, at the forefront of your mind when you're making decisions, when you're creating solutions. You need to know these things, and a lot of these things are going to be specific to AWS itself. Security practices, there's some standard ones across the board. We'll kind of highlight some of those things as well. But yeah, can't wait to learn AWS. Azure Web Services, perfect. That's exactly what it is. Azure Web Services. It's okay. That works as well. Some of these concepts will apply across the board. Like I said, I'll try to call out the ones that are not AWS specific. But yeah, security in general. I agree with you. I don't love it. Maybe next time I'll do it a little bit earlier, so that we can end on more of a exciting topic, a more of a fun topic. than security, but there's a fair amount in here. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna start getting through all of this now. So these first couple of slides are things that you've seen before, and I really want to submit this as something that you know. The shared responsibility model is very important. We talked about this maybe in the third or fourth lesson when we talked about IAM, which was identity and access management, which is also that whole section could be a part of this section as well, but this one in particular is what I wanted to go back over, make sure it was fresh on your brain, because you need to know. It's the exact same slides for this. We're in this together, partner. This is going to be talking about the relationship between you and AWS and your responsibility as it pertains to the cloud. So security and compliance are extremely important. It's up to you and AWS to ensure that these standards are upheld. What is AWS responsible for? What's up, Frequency Hop? How you doing? AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud. So we're not gonna spend too much time here because we've gone over it, but it's the security of the cloud. That's what you can think about it as. So think the actual facilities that these things are running in, the physical access to these buildings, things like that, the software that's running inside of it, the hardware, their servers and things, the physical hardware, and the networks that link up all the servers, the networks that link to data centers. They are a part of that. That's their responsibility. Their responsibility for those things that make up the cloud and make up AWS's global infrastructure. And then you're responsible for the things that are inside of the cloud. So they're responsible for things of the cloud, but you're responsible for security in the cloud. And so like the operating system, the applications that you are deploying, the software that you're deploying, access to the networks that are used by your services. So if you set up your own VPCs or custom networks and stuff, whoever has access to those, that is your job, making sure your operating systems are patched, make sure your applications don't have any critical security vulnerabilities. Things like that are things that you are responsible for. They are handle the security of the cloud. You handle the security in the cloud. And again, this is just a little bit of an overview of what this looks like. The next slide, I think, is going to help us understand this part a little bit. A lot of words on this slide, but this is a good little breakdown. You can find this on AWS's site, so don't sweat it. But just shows, down here, the hardware and the global infrastructure. It makes sense that they would be responsible for that. Why would you be responsible for AWS's global infrastructure? So things like their entire regions and availability zones and edge locations. And then there's some overlap with things, and it gets kind of tough to understand. I've heard people ask lots of questions about the difference between network here and networking here and software here and some of the software items that you're responsible for up here. And we'll try to dig into that a little bit, but again, they're making sure that the physical hardware and things are up to date. The drives, I'm talking about storage, hard drives die all the time. So there's people in there, as hard drives die, they're pulling them out and replacing them. I think they have like robots and some of them as well. I think I saw something interesting about that can like go to red lights, like this like red lights that show hard drives that are out and replace those. Things like your databases and networking, that physical networking that happens gets handled by AWS. Lewis RA93, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Good to have you for the second month in a row, 2 times. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. And then again, really a lot of the things that you're going to be responsible for are the things that you're doing in the cloud, the services and things that you pick up that aren't managed services. So EC2 instances, managing the updates and upgrades there, it's something that you're responsible for, and the operating system of that and your application and the things that you're working on. There's a number of firewalls. There's a number of networking options that you have available to you that are enabled by the cloud. But they're not necessarily of the cloud. So again, those subnets and things that you create, these are all networking, but it's networking that you're defining via software. It's networks that you define, and those are the things that you're responsible for. So make sure you're taking care of that stuff. Your own data, the encryption of your data, making sure your data is safe. That's you as well. So there's just, there's some nuance in there, but it's really good to know what AWS is responsible for versus what you are responsible for. Now, a lot of this comes, it's kind of split here. So we never talked about the OSI model here. We are not going to dive deep into the OSI model, but this model is it's a computing model. I forgot what it stands for. Let's look it up. I learned this first like a long time ago in school. OSI model. I never remember. It's like open systems interconnection model. And it just shows kind of the networking relationship between networked computers. And so it starts from the bottom down here with the first layer. There are 7 layers, and you'll commonly hear people talk about things on different layers, and this describes where they're happening at. So physical starts the bar down here, down low, and we're talking about the physical infrastructure. So we're talking about, you know, the actual physical hardware. So the fiber lines that are running, the coaxial cables that are running, the systems, the hardware that's actually making up the network systems. That's layer 1, is the physical hardware. Then we have the data link layer, which is again your Ethernet and your switches and things like that. You have your network layer, which is kind of the next layer up, and it's kind of a little hierarchy here. But packets, we're not gonna. We could spend hours on this, but this is just kind of the data that's transmitted when you're transmitting data. Then transport. So this is where your protocols are: TCP, UDP. So TCP. Remember when we hop into the security groups and we're opening up a port? We're opening up a TCP port. These are protocols that allow data transmission. And so your transport layer, that's where end-to-end communication happens. On the transport layer, session layer is another step up. Then we got the presentation layer. This is mostly what you kind of see. So you can see there SSH, JPEG, MPEG, SSL, syntax layer. And the top layer is the actual application layer where everything is running. That's really the application that's running that usually you're interacting with from your end. So it all starts from here, and there are a bunch of layers that allow network computers to be able to transmit this data, and all of these layers are important. But knowing these layers can also be very important, because it can really help you troubleshoot issues. It can really help you understand how things work. So understanding where things can go wrong. If you understand these layers, you can provide different levels of support, different levels of you have different levels of ability at each of these levels of what you can do. So it's good to know. Not super important to know kind of at the beginning of your cloud computing career, I don't think. Not important for the exam at all, but we're going to talk about some of the solutions that we have for security. We're going to talk about where they are on this scale, and I think it's pretty important. But the shared security model really does kind of end up splitting. Like there's like basically like all of this is AWS is at the bottom, and then like a lot of this at the top is yours, and then there's a little bit of overlap. There's like a little Venn diagram right in the middle, so it's like, you know, the top half is like yours and the bottom half is AWS's, and again there's a little bit of overlap there. Deconstructors, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Good to have you as a part of the family. Welcome. Come on in, learn about all of the OSIs and all of the models and all of the layers. You know, whenever I think of layers, I think of cake. And cake is a celebration, and I love to think about celebrations, and that's why I thank you for Twitch Prime subbing, because you led me to cake. You know, appreciate it. But yeah, so we're gonna refer back to this as we kind of go along. Don't try to memorize this right now. Not important at all. Just again, know that there's this thing that describes the different layers of network communication. Now, a lot of people, when they think of security, are thinking of getting hacked. You know, they're thinking of someone gaining access to your stuff, you know, getting your username and getting your passwords, stuff like that. It's all very, very true. But security dives into a lot more things than just, you know, physical access to machines. So we're about to talk about that. What's up, Dr. Vim? Good to have you. Thank you for the follow. What's up, Torminator? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. Burnt biscuit. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. What's up, Angeline Orionite? Welcome to the channel. Good to have you. You were 5 hours ago though, so you're probably not here, but thank you so much for following. Also, thank you very much to anyone who found me after the Live Coders Conf this weekend. I had a great time. I had a lot of fun. You know, just as we do here, we ran out of time a little bit, but it was fun. it was definitely fun. So if anyone is here from that, anyone who, you know, found us first there, welcome to the channel. It is good to have you. Shout it out though. If you're here from there, I definitely want to know, you know, I want to meet you. I want to, you know, get to know each other a little bit, get a little bit intimate, you know. It's nice. Lights are low, music's nice. You know, I want to know who's in here with me. Oh, I always want brisket. Brisket's amazing. I work with someone who has a, you know, a side barbecue business, and he offered up plates one weekend. I think it was Memorial Day weekend, or was it Labor Day? I never remember which time of the year which is, but we ordered plates, came with a little bit of, you know, grilled chicken, a little bit of nice, you know, brisket. You know, he's a big meat smoker, and like I'm really bad at that stuff, and so it was amazing. I had like mac and cheese, all the other stuff, and then we had to go, me and another coworker. It was so good that me and another friend had to go in and get a full brisket, you know, pay whatever, you know, spare no expense, whatever it's gonna cost during a pandemic for you to find a brisket big enough to, you know, allow us to eat for a long time. Go find it and we'll pay for it. And it was amazing as well. And so I'm gonna try to get some more really soon. Maybe I'll give him a shout out. I don't know. I don't think he likes to, you know, I think he does it for the fun, not for the money. So he doesn't want to be overwhelmed with orders. But if he does, you know, I'll give some information, you know, give a little support. But if we're not talking about physical access, what we can talk about today is some different types of attacks. And really, we're only going to talk, this is really, I guess, the only other type of attack we're going to talk about. Actually, we're going to drop a few others, but DDoS, DDoS, you've probably heard of this before. And may not have known exactly what it was. And what this is a distributed denial of service attack. We'll break that down. Distributed is the first part, so really separate that from the rest. It's distributed is the adjective here. Is describing the nature of it. So distributed, you know, meaning not in a centralized place, not coming from one place. It's coming from a lot of places at once. Denial of service. You're denying people service to this application, or you're denying this application to be able to serve the people requesting information from it. And what this is a very common attack pattern, but it's when a bunch of computers basically make lots of legitimate requests to your website, overloading your servers or your services and rendering them inaccessible. So it's not actually, and it's not intrusion. Someone's not hacking you. And what happens a lot of times for super successful attacks is basically hackers or people who with malicious intent will you know, do things to get agents on computers around the world. So they will put little bugs on computers that allow them to kind of take control of these distributed nodes. So people are downloading this file and unknowingly getting a little thing that's going to allow some attacker to take control of their computer when the time comes. When the time comes, the person kind of activates all of these computers at their disposal. So now they have access to, you know, 100,000 computers, and they use these computers to send requests from all different places to a website. Again, if your website's not built to handle this, it can render your website useless. It can overload the systems and make your site, it'll take your site down. And this happens fairly often. It's kind of a badge of honors for some hackers. You know, the bigger the site, you know, if you're able to take it down, if you're able to cause some issues, that feels kind of good, I guess. I think this just happened to T-Mobile. I think I believe they said that was one of the reasons why they had some service issues. But yeah, it's a distributed denial of service attack. It's just an overloading of requests, and if your servers can't handle it, then your site will go down. This also inadvertently happens when someone popular promotes sites that may not be ready for this. People call it the hug of death. It came from Reddit originally, I think. You know, the Reddit hug of death. Someone will post a website, people will really take to it, and everyone will go visit the site, and those people weren't ready for that type of traffic, and it takes the site down. Everyone meant well, but it ends up having unintended purposes. And so you want to be able to, you know, if your site is important, you do not want this to happen. You need to defend against this. Especially if you have a revenue generating website, you need to make sure it's up. So you need to be able to handle this. Just DDoS Uber Eats with brisket orders. That is how, if you're gonna DDoS, that is the place to do it. Please send one of those orders my way once they come through. Apparently AWS mitigated a 2.3 terabyte per second DDoS attack. That is incredibly large, and I believe it. RDS Reddit denial of service. Yeah, the Reddit denial of service. It's a real thing. It's definitely a real thing, and there are a number of ways for you to prevent this within AWS, and it's not always preventable. You know, yeah, there's a price to, you know, what's the trade-off here? I guess everything kind of is preventable, but like how much you willing to pay for it? But this is AWS Shield is a service from AWS that enables this, and we'll go into AWS really quick. It's not very exciting. There's not really much you care about here. I want you to be familiar with it, but this is AWS's DDoS protection. You get, there's two tiers. There's standard protection, and it's really cool because you get this out of the gate with CloudFront and Route 53. You get this out of the gate. You get some DDoS protection. So this is good enough for lots and lots of use cases for a lot of businesses, organizations who aren't crazy large. This will keep you covered. You don't really have to worry about this. But if you really are expecting big traffic, if you really are expecting, you know, people to do crazy things, you can upgrade to the advanced protection. And what this is this is actually basically a team of AWS engineers who will help you run through and get things in order to get you ready for the intended traffic. And then they'll have things in place. There's different services and tools they'll have in place to help you out if this should occur, and the resources that they will provide to your system to allow you to be able to handle more traffic than the basic protection can handle. It's expensive. It is $3,000 per month. And again, this is, you know, this may be no big deal to larger organizations. And so we at the SBA, at the Small Business Administration, actually used this during the COVID stuff. We knew we were about to, you know, start accepting small business loans, you know, those PPP loans. And we knew we were about to start getting crazy traffic for just people looking for information and relief. And so we also knew that there are people, there are organizations, there are countries who would see this as an opportunity to, you know, an already crippled economy, to make it worse, to make it a lot harder for people to get aid. And so, you know, you can expect that sometimes that, you know, bad actors will go ahead and use this opportunity to DOS and make it hard for people to get what they need. Yeah, and so we did use the service, and it was pretty good. And I don't know, I put level 4 and level 4. I think this is supposed to be level 4 and level 5, I believe. Hold on, level 4, and I think it's 3 and 4. I think it's level 3 and 4. I'll confirm that. Pretty sure it's level 3 and 4 though. I'll put 4 and 4. But yeah, that's what AWS Shield is. Again, you get it by default or using CloudFront and Route 53, so you get some basic protection. And for most of it, that's fine, no big deal at all. But you can upgrade if you work for an organization. It's good to know about when you work for a larger organization. You know, 3K is really not that much again for these big companies, even though it's a ton for me. Wi-Fi layer 5, yes, you are correct. Yes, which I can confirm. I think you are right. I do think you're right, but we will confirm just to make sure. But yeah, that's AWS Shield. Protect you from DOSing, which is a big problem. All right, so that is notice how, again, AWS Shield doesn't protect you against things like you know, like anyone getting your password or anything like that. It's not for, you know, hackers. It is specifically for massive traffic to your website. It's specifically for denial of service attacks. And like, just I only want to point that out to note that there are many different ways, there are many different tools that help you solve specific security problems inside of AWS as we kind of go through to help you remember. Oh, we're going through this fast. It's good. And maybe, you know what? Let's pull up AWS Shield real quick. Maybe we can confirm that now. Let's get logged in. yeah, this is it. Not really. Oh wait, not WAF. That's what we're about to talk about. Oh, WAF. I forgot Shields is within WAF. That's why. AWS Shield, very exciting, the most exciting. And again, see, it'll show you what options it has for advanced versus standard. Standard is the one that you get for free, but again, not incredibly, like, you're just not gonna, most people just aren't gonna need, a lot of people aren't gonna need this. But again, like I said, $3K a month, this is a no-brainer. A no-brainer for a lot of people. Like, AWS takes dealing with DDoS attacks is not easy. Also, now we got 3 and 4. Oh man, see, confusing me so much. It does use 3 and 4. See, well, I thought I was right. Then I second guessed myself, but it's okay. That's why I said we confirm. All good, not a big deal at all. Oh yeah, there we go. It's right there. But yeah, it gives you some options. You know, I would, if I were you, for someone who, again, who's worked in data centers, manage these things, you don't want to deal with, like, you just don't want to have to deal with managing DOS. Like, you don't want to. It's not a fun process at all to manage this. You know, if the company can pay for it, pay for it. If you guys think you're having a big release, you're expecting a bunch of traffic, and you think someone might be, you know, doing some wild stuff, pay for it. Like, seriously, this is, it's the reason why it costs so much is because it's useful. And again, it's not just a service. Like, you don't just, it's not like now you can click some more buttons and you have some more options and you got to know what to do with it. Nope, they'll give you people basically who will be there to help you out and ask questions and check out your infrastructure and help implement things that are necessary in the background. That's nice. It's really nice. It can help, but you get all the good stuff up front. But let's change this back. And it says here, layer 3 and 4 attack notifications. And so again, it'll let you know when, so this is kind of where it resides. It's looking at, it's sitting at this layer here. This is where it does its work, where it's watching for things, where it's you know, where it's going to implement its features. And again, sometimes that can be important, not super important right now, but again, it's just to visually show you as we kind of hop around the different services where things can happen. It also said it'll notify you if you have the advanced, it'll notify you of layer 7 attacks as well, or historical report, not notification, but historical report. So again, those layers do have meaning, but again, not important for you to know right now. So Shield's nice. It can help if you don't want to be overloaded. If you have a large company who's getting lots of traffic, or you're expecting to get lots of traffic, go for it. But again, there's also a cost trade-off. Like, if you're a company that's not really like, your website is not your money maker per se, and like you going down for a little while is not going to be a huge deal. Like, don't pay that $3,000. You know, there's a trade-off there. You don't have to do that. You know, if people are going to overload your stuff, they, you know, let them do what they need to do. Again, if your income, they probably won't if your income is not really based off your website, but who knows? Who knows? People are wild out here. Absolutely sorry. As cost protection, which does make it worth its weight in gold. So you are protected against, you know, wild things, wild charges. It's really nice. It's helpful. Like I said, no brainer to me. And like I've had to deal. I've never successfully mitigated a serious DDoS attack. Again, when I worked at a web hosting company, a couple of users were getting DOSed heavily, and we did all the things that we had access to. This was before the cloud, and like our internal services and networking just didn't have the flexibility to do what you needed to do to be able to quickly provision capacity, or to scan traffic, or to do anything like that to allow us to mitigate it. And it was so hectic. So yeah, most organizations are gonna be fine with this. And you know, it doesn't necessarily, you generally, you know, medium-sized companies, maybe you don't have it, you know, all the time, but you get it for once you need it. This is important though. This is important. I forget to talk about this when people ask me about it. The 1 year commitment is, you know, you have to commit to that 3K, but you got to pay for it for a whole year. You do have to commit for that year, so you know, just keep that in mind. And like I said, if your company's big enough to probably afford this, probably no big deal at all. You'll probably, you know, that 3K will probably save you much more than that if you really need it. So that's AWS Shield if you want to keep your stuff a little bit secure. Next, on to WAF, another firewall. Excuse me, sorry. Let me check this real quick. All right, WAF, Web Application Firewall, another firewall. So we talked about security groups being a firewall. Absolutely. Web application firewalls are bigger. They're bigger firewalls that allow for a little a lot more flexibility, actually. A little more complicated, but they have a lot more functionality, but they help specifically protect your web app, like your web apps, from common exploits. And so there are a lot of common ways to exploit a website: cross-site scripting, SQL injection. So like, you know, if you have a commonly, I think something like 40% of the internet or 35% of the internet is built off of WordPress, you know, with a common framework like that, when people discover, you know, issues, they write little scripts that go around to be able to exploit vulnerabilities. And they can run these things on your site from the web, and they can do all these SQL injections and stuff. And web application firewalls help stop these things from happening. They also allow you to do all kinds of other things, like maybe you want to geofence your application. Maybe you want to stop people from, you know, certain countries from getting into your website, or certain regions or something like that. You can do that, but it's a big application firewall. It's bigger than security groups. Security groups kind of apply to the one instance. You can put these web application firewalls in front of your load balancers to kind of mitigate traffic even getting into your system as well. But yeah, it operates on layer 7. So right at the top here, right at the application layer, it is an application firewall, but you can define a bunch of rules. You have a lot of flexibility over it. You have access to, you know, what resources the rules affect. You have tons of access and flexibility over what the actual rules are. So again, think about, this is the bigger brother to those security groups that allow you to do a little more, but they protect against common exploits. Whereas, you know, security groups only really, they don't really know anything about these exploits. They're just blocking or opening ports. So they're kind of just opening and closing gates. This is doing a lot more granular checking, a lot more granular access control as well. And it does some scanning and things like that as well through the traffic that's coming through the system. It looks at the traffic and can a lot of times determine if something is malicious or not. So that's the WAF. We can go back in here. It's in the same section. Like I said, WAF can be a little WAF can be interesting, again, because it's a much bigger firewall that kind of sits in front of a lot of stuff. These kind of global, you can have these global rules, you can have regional rules, all kinds of stuff. You can create these web ACLs. So these ACLs and access control list. And you can kind of create this that you can do everything in here if you want, but that'll help you again apply these rules, create and apply these rules if you'd like. We're not going to set up any today. For none of this, we don't really need to go in and set up a lot of stuff. But yeah, you set up rules. You can set up, you know, regex patterns to look for stuff. So you can set up these regular expressions to try to match certain patterns as traffic is coming through. And if those patterns come up, you know, if there are matches for those, they will, you can determine what to do with those. But yeah, it's really nice. It is not, even though it's in here with Shield, these are not separate. or they're not you can't, it's not that you have to use one or the other. Again, these can be used in conjunction to solve a lot of your problems. So again, WAF is for a different thing, operates on a different space. It's for exploits, whereas Shield is for DDoS. It doesn't care about what the requests are. It doesn't care about that at all. It's not really going to stop that at all. If there are requests that are coming through that are malicious, it'll still let them through, but WAF will not. So you can use them in tandem to really give yourself some help. I don't know what the pricing model on WAF is, to be honest. Let's find out. If we don't know, we can find out. All right, so that's pretty simple pricing. I kind of like that. But it seems like this is kind of expensive, to be honest. For someone like a individual user, who may be doing a little bit of this, a little expensive. A single ACL, web ACL, web app was $5 per month. Depending on how many you have, it can be pretty expensive. Hey, yes, please. Thank you. It can be a little bit expensive for, you know, for someone who's paying, you know, 9 cents a month for S3. $30 can be, it can be a lot. It can be a lot, but 60 cents per 1 million requests, you know, I ain't pushing that much traffic, so I don't really have to worry about that much. But, you know, again, even $5, you know, that's 5 times more than what I would be spending if I wasn't using it. But yeah, so it's cool. These are, I highly recommend them. They are an excellent tool for controlling access, mitigating a lot of security concerns, kind of broadly and right out of the gate. It's kind of nice. But yeah, these things, you know, they for sure add up. So yeah, I think this is the biggest problem, the $1 per rule. So the web ACL is going to be the giant group set and the rules inside of them. $1 per month for each of them. Interesting. But again, these things are kind of inspecting and tracking every request that kind of comes into AWS. So, you know, AWS is doing a lot for you. But again, for just you might say, oh, I want to keep my application super secure. Do you? Is this what you need? But for a lot of organizations, this is, even, you know, small, I would even say, like, you know, medium-sized companies and up, I would highly recommend putting in a WAF to protect your things but make sure whoever's putting them in understands what they're doing. Again, these rules can get crazy granular. You can cause all types of unintended issues. You can accidentally block pieces of your application and not realize it for a long time, because, you know, rules can be finicky and rules can be tricky, and the way that they interact with your application, the way that your application works. So check it out. Check it out if you need to. It is an option for getting in some higher level kind of application control, application safety and security. So that's WAF. Pretty nothing particularly exciting. All right, we'll stop there for a second. Any questions so far? We talked a little bit about the OSI model, so I would highly recommend. I'll paste it in Google Classroom. I'll give you a link to OSI model, maybe a video about OSI model, because again, valuable information to know. Certainly, if you are going to be doing any type of cloud engineering, for sure, hop into the OSI model. Even if you're going to be doing, especially if you're doing solutions architecting, hop into videos about the OSI model, learn it, understand it. You don't really need to, I don't think you need to be a super pro and like memorize every little thing that's there, but have a general understanding of it, because I think it will be helpful for you in the future. Thank you. Hopefully in the future. And then it'll also help you understand as you're learning more and more about the cloud across the board. These layers aren't AWS layers. The OSI model is you know, a model for all of network computing. So it might even help you as you go to different services, different platforms. If people can tell you, you know, what layer that thing is on, maybe it can help you understand how it fits into the greater system. All right. After WAF, what do we have? Actually, Nope. Yeah, I'm not even going to create any of these things because again, if I create that ACL, that's $5. It was prorated. But yeah, it's $5, and then each of those rules. So I don't even want to do an example because it's going to cost me some money. That I don't want to pay because I am a cheapskate. All right, what was the next one? All right, now we're going to get into some more of the there are also some security paradigms that exist that aren't tools that you can practice as you're kind of doing things, but there are more tools as we get through this because there are a lot of them. You mentioned for using a regional access to the page. This is something, let's say, Netflix would use to make sure US users stay on servers and don't access Japanese servers for copyright reasons. They probably have a more elegant solution for this, to be honest, but they possibly it could definitely be used to do that. There's also probably a lot of DNS settings and things that would allow for that that you could do. There's a lot of different ways, but yeah, it could be used to do this. It could be what they would use. I feel like they would have a more elegant solution than this, but you could do it for sure. But yes, there's some better ways to geofence servers. Again, geofencing things via DNS is probably your first line of defense. But yes, there's probably some type of firewall rules in the background to kind of handle this for people who get through and things like that. Anyway, so yeah. American, what's up, my African American? That's me. I'm not Donald Trump's African American. I am, in fact, an African who is in America. I'm an African American. So hello, good evening. How are you doing tonight? So IAM rule of least privilege. So this is not an IAM rule. The rule or the principle of least privilege is absolutely a thing you can go check out on Wikipedia right now, but it's a simple rule. If you go on there, there's a lot of sections, a lot of words on there, but the rule of least privilege is to only give resources access to things essential to perform their jobs. Okay, pretty simple rule. Least privilege, give them only enough privilege to do what is essential to perform their job. So this applies to not only to all things in IAM. So in IAM, what is IAM? It is identity and access management. It is this is where you're gonna define rules, and this is where you're gonna define access information for users. For users, so people who log in, who need to access AWS in what ways, both via the console and programmatically. Also to AWS services, so the different pieces, all the different services, and you can do that through roles and policies. And so you can define all these things. You can get extremely granular about these things. And the rule of least privilege again says, hey, when you're setting these things up, only give people access to the things that they need access to. And this is easier said than done. Why is it easier said than done? Because let's say we made that Circle CI user that we made. I think we made it here for when we're talking about CI/CD a little bit. But let's say we made a user that was going to do some tasks for us, and we gave it access to just a single S3 bucket. We said, hey, this user is going to build some stuff for us and put some stuff in an S3 bucket. We give them access to that one S3 bucket. As we grow and this user needs to put things in more S3 buckets, every single time we need to go in and we need to update the policy to include more and more things. And it can be annoying to keep up with. It can be very annoying to do, manage, to be 100% honest. But, it's something that you should do and that you should practice, to be honest. The biggest place that this matters is with the different services. So let's say you have an EC2 instance. I've seen people give their EC2 instances complete administrator access because they didn't want to go in and create a policy. It was easier to create a simple role and give it administrator access. If someone hacks into you or gains access to your EC2 instance, if they have that, they have administrator privileges, from there, they can hit your AWS API endpoints and they can provision resources as well. So they can come in and say, all right, give me 35 of the largest EC2 instances just for fun, costing you money. So again, you kind of want to do that. It really helps to, because it helps you know exactly who and what is going to be doing things or has access to things. If something happens, you most likely know where it came from, and it's just a good practice for ensuring that no one or no thing can perform any unintended actions. You have me pumped getting these AWS associate certs. That's dope. I'm pretty excited too. I told you I'm about to, as soon as this is done, I'm really gonna get on my grind for the AWS Solutions Architect Pro. I'm gonna try to get it before. I'm probably gonna seriously start studying again for it next Monday. And I'm gonna try to, I'm gonna study for about 3 weeks, and then I'm gonna try to grab it, and we'll see what happens. But I want to know everyone who's gonna go out here and get some of these certs. I want to hear about it. I want to hear how you do. I want to hear what your experience was with the test. The test changes pretty often, so there's a bunch of things that changed. Let me know as well. But I'm interested to see what you think about it, and what we can do in the future to make sure people are more prepared. Because I think the goal is again eventually to get to a place where people are genuinely 100% prepared for a lot of these things when we're done with this. But yeah. All right, block. Easy, super easy. We're trying to be kind. We're trying to just take some time. I was waiting to see. I was like, all right, I can't tell if this was a poor placed, a poor placed introduction to the channel or whatever. Give him a chance. Got a block. Easy. The buttons too easy. I always wonder how people have this much time on their hands though. Like, there's nothing else to do. I feel like when I have free time, I want to go do something fun with it. But really not a problem, not a big deal at all. Amber King 97, I like that name, but definitely weird. But cool. That is the IAM rule of least privilege. Again, this is where you're going to apply it the most inside of AWS, the rule of least privilege, because IAM is the place where you define all of that access. That's where you're going to apply this rule. So check it out. I would Google principle of least privilege, read about it a little bit. There are some more paradigms to this, but the most important is, hey, only give resources access to things essential for them to perform their jobs. So pretty simple thing, not too hard to remember or to figure out. Hey, if you want to give everyone sudo access, give them sudo access. Okay. If you're prepared for the consequences, go for it. When I do it, when I make bad decisions security wise, I know what can happen. I know what can happen. You'll do it. But yeah, would you use WAF to block something? Yeah, I actually wonder. I always wonder how they're doing some of this. I'm sure this is done in an application. But maybe we can build our own WAF type blocker maybe we can do a cool thing where we're not blocking people through the console here. Maybe we can do some fancy stuff, some really fancy stuff. We can block them in a different way. But yeah, block, easy, give people a chance. But when they fail, they got to get up out of here. Okay, so these next couple are a little bit boring. And we're going to actually go into the console and look at some of these because there's an entire security, identity, and compliance section, which I'm not sure why they put all of these together. I feel like it should have been security and compliance, but because they have IAM here, I guess they had to do this as well. Because I would have pulled Cognito out of the section. I would have pulled a couple of them out of the section, but there's so you can see here there's a lot of services, and all of them aren't covered at kind of in the earlier levels of the exams. And again, it's mostly just understanding what they are. 175 services, just learning the differences between a lot of them. But Inspector is the next one that we are going to take a look at. And so Inspector Gadget is probably it's a paradigm that you're probably familiar with. It provides security scanning and compliance for apps deployed within AWS. So I want you to think McAfee antivirus on your computer. I want you to think, what are the other ones? The other ESET, I think, is the new one people are using. the malware bytes, all those services that you can download and install on your computer. AVG, Avast, to download and make sure you don't have any viruses. This is not exactly that, but it is a similar paradigm. It is, you install the agent, so you install this application that onto your services, onto your EC2 instances. You scan, they run on an interval, and they collect data, and they generate these great reports. What are they scanning for? They're scanning for, again, compliance things, so making sure, you know, hey, are ports open that shouldn't be open, things like that. There are rules that are defined, and there are a bunch of rules you can get from a bunch of different places. You can define rules yourself, but they look for that stuff. They look for vulnerabilities, common vulnerabilities that are, you know, put in these CV databases and stuff. But yeah, they're just running scans on your instances to say, hey, you have any problems here? We're kind of just the virus scan, we're the vulnerability scan, compliance scan, making sure everything's good to go. We don't fix anything, but we will generate a report for you telling you what we found, what's wrong, what you should fix, what actions you can take. And so, you know, that is what Inspector does. No big deal. Pretty simple. Best for the cloud. The provider is responsible for security of the cloud. Absolutely. That's it. That's what we said in the beginning. Everyone's had bad experiences with AVG. If you're a Windows user, if you've been a long time Windows user, I'm sure you've had issues with AVG. I'm sure you had issues with Avast. Windows virus scanning is all over the place. Maybe I shouldn't disclose this online, but I have not used a virus program, antivirus program. I've not used anti-malware program in years. And I've been pretty good. I think it's one, because I've gotten pretty good at navigating the web and knowing which links are bogus and which ones are not. And I generally stay on the very, very safe sites. Generally, you know, every now and then I'm curious sometimes, so I'll explore here and there. I'll see a link. I'll say, hey, I know that may cause me some issues, but I'll check it out. When that usually does happen, I'll do it in a VM, or I'll do it on my computer or my Linux laptop, where it's a little bit safer, where I say, hey, this website looks like it's got some good information for me, but it looks malicious. Let's head over, see what it's about. But I don't think I've had any viruses or malware that's at least been noticeable to me in a very, very long time. So, you know, go ahead and learn how to use your computer properly. Maybe that's a +1 for Windows Defender. I know Windows Defender, I think it's more of a firewall tool. I don't really know what it does, but again, I haven't gotten a virus in a long time, so I don't really know. Yeah, definitely. For sure. I can't tell you how many times I've been with people who I thought were extremely computer literate, extremely computer savvy, and will be looking for information. And, you know, maybe, especially if you want to download a font. Look at this real quick. If you want to go download, like you say, hey, best free fonts. And, you know, I'll be helping someone out and they're trying to do something, and we'll get to a website like this, and let's find a free sans serif font, and they'll get to a website like this, and they'll go click on download here, and then there'll be like 5 download buttons, and I think that everyone, oh, my webcam froze. Hold on. I'll fix it. We can fix this. I think I can just do 1, 2. Nope, that didn't do it. Hold on. I can fix it. I can. Okay, we're gonna get a little inception here for a second. There. Okay, no signal. We're back in business. Let's go. You know, sometimes you become an OBS pro. Even though my OBS wasn't working a little bit, you know, a few minutes ago, it's working now. But I can't tell you, I'm telling you, I go to help people and they'll like, we'll be working through something, and this site's good. So like, this one's not super confusing, but there'll be something that have like a download link here that's an ad to some BS. And then the right one will be like nested under here. And like the speed at which people click these terrible links it's really confusing. Like, it's like, you've been using the internet for a long time. Like, how did you click on that? Like, what told you that it was okay to click on? I don't know. You know, maybe I believe in people a little too much. But I don't know, it's really weird. The flash download button, yes, people, it works. It absolutely works. People always wonder like, oh, like there's no way all these like scammers are really getting people. Yeah, they are. You would be surprised how easy it is to get everyone. But that's Inspector. It's going to be your scanner. It's going to scan for security and compliance. Again, compliance is security is, you know, vulnerabilities, things like that. Compliance is making sure that your systems are in accordance to the way that they're supposed to be, in accordance to security practices. So again, maybe you're not vulnerable to anything in specific or in particular, but your security practices, your security posture says these things should be done to prevent you know, any type of access. And so compliance is just making sure your systems comply with those rule sets. So again, it can be checking to check if ports are open, applications are installed that shouldn't be installed, things like that. It will do that. So it does both of those things. Yes, an ad on Google search. I agree. I'll never get it, but you know, I guess it makes sense. Now, that was Inspector. Like I said, this is for your EC2 instances. So it's not going to work like an S3 or something, because again, it's a daemon, it's an agent that needs to run. It needs to run over and over again. And so it's got to go on a compute instance, and you install it pretty easy. It's actually pretty easy to use. Get it installed on there, run the assessment. I don't know what the pricing is on here either, but I've actually never used Amazon Inspector in a professional setting. I used it myself to test some stuff out. Oh, nice. First 250 instance assessments. So that doesn't sound like you can put it on 250 instances, or if you do, you can run the scan on each of them one time and it'll be $0. The next that's for the free trial, and then once you're past the free tier, the next 250 is 15 cents. Oh, per instance assessment price. So 15 cents per instance. So if you do, after your free tier is up and you do I can't do any math, you know, because why would I? So $37.50 for 250 scans. So not even instances. Oh, actually, yeah, it is. So maybe, I didn't check this out. I didn't check what they mean by, and if you know, let me know. The first 250 instance assessments, to me, that sounds like instant scans, but it gives a per instance assessment price. No, I think that's right. I think you're right. I think I'm right. So not 250 instances, but your 250 scans is going to cost you $37.50 for all 250, and then the next, you know, there's the pricing. So you know, depending on how many scans you're doing, I don't know how often people are doing these scans. It doesn't seem crazy, it doesn't seem nuts, but you know, it does cost a little bit of money. When in doubt, MFA your whole life, 1000%. MFA super important. I'm actually about to set up MFA for a lot of people don't practice this, but you can actually set up MFA via the CLI, so that you can't even perform any actions via the CLI unless you are MFA'd in. We practice this at work. I think it's a pretty cool thing. And you know, as I start my company, as I start to do more serious things with software that are important, I'm in like have genuine real infrastructure that I don't want people to access, especially when I'm doing things on here live and I'm accidentally showing off my keys like I normally do. You know, I did at least 4 times throughout this and throughout Horizons and Pipelines, the few pipelines that we did. So, you know, I'm definitely gonna set that up. It's pretty important. MFA as multi-factor authentication. Again, that's that multi-token authentication. I'll probably use my I don't have it on me, my YubiKey for that, you know. What? Yeah, first off, you're not just gonna pop up. You can't just pop up and be like, I'm the only one with a black screen. You can't. That's not how you enter. How you doing, man? How are you doing? Are you okay? I haven't seen you in so long. I hope you're okay. What's up, man? Good to see that. I was worried about you. I didn't know if you were alive or not. Terrence just you know, sneaking in. See, Alex, this guy just tiptoeing in. How long you been lurking? I'm interested to know how long you've been lurking. Let me know how long you've been lurking. All right, it's all good. We're just talking about a little security here, man. We're learning about a little bit of security. So yes, AWS Inspector. Yeah, I forgot what we were saying about it, but you can afford it, but don't. I mean, I'm not a fan of EC2 instances, so I probably won't use this in a while. But if you need some type of security and compliance, a lot of places that you work at will require some type of scan. And so there are a lot of tools to do this. There are Nessus scans if you work for the government. There's all kinds of different scans that can happen. And sometimes, your security, you guys have heard my rant about security folk. And they have their checklist. I understand they have a checklist of things that needs to happen. Generally, if you have instances, some type of scanning is going to be in place. So this may solve it for you. This may solve it for you. And this is probably cheaper than a lot of those other tools because generally they will also, give you a per instance price, which will not be cheap for a lot of the outside tools. People really screw over enterprise customers, to be honest. I think if we as a entire unit decided that we weren't going to let companies charge so much for their enterprise offerings, and it's just so blatant. If you go to buy, let's say we go to JetBrains and we want to buy ourselves an IDE right now, and I get it, you're a company as well, you want to make some money, but it just doesn't make sense to me. And if I'm going to buy this, I want to buy an IDE. If I want to, and I like JetBrains. This is no knock against JetBrains. I love JetBrains. I'm actually considering, I'm probably actually going to buy a subscription to GoLand because I'm going to be building a significant app in it, and I think it will be interesting to use. But if you are an organization, look how much it's $649 per person for this. But if you are an individual, it drops down to $249. Like, I get it. I get that businesses have more money, but the fact that it's okay to present it in this way, like, I can't believe I can't believe that, like, companies have not fought back for years because I guess every company is like, I want to do it too. Like, I want to charge companies more than an individual. But look at this. Like, it's the same thing. Nothing changes. None of this, like, you get the same thing. And look how the numbers change organizations. Pretty nuts. But it is enforceable. A lot of people don't know that it's enforceable. It's actually enforceable. People can find out these things. It's pretty interesting. But what's up, Managed Chaos, and sign up for community college. Hey, yes, it might be cheaper to sign up for community college to get these things than to just pay. Look at that. That's so much. But again, this is not a knock on JetBrains. Every software company does this. Every software as a service, everybody does this. Everyone does it. Maybe I just need to do a little more research to understand why. It always seems so weird to me. Like, they don't even offer anything extra. Like, at least offer me, be like, note right here that you're going to get enterprise level support at all time, 24-hour drop of the dime support. This is what you're going to get better. Yes, I do use Vim. I'm a Vim user. I am a Vim user, and I'm not on Prime's level yet. I'm working on it. I'm watching Prime's videos to get on his level, but I think there are some, I'm not as, because I'm still learning. I don't have the same software experience as all the other amazing Vim users. And so there are a lot of features and concepts and ways that they know software that I don't, that I think that the tools of an IDE would help me understand, and would help me move into Vim full-time later. But I mean, I'm using Vim full-time right now. We'll see. Who knows? CM, Mr. Griffin, welcome to the channel. Good timing. Welcome. We're ranting right now. We're ranting and raving about the cost of enterprise software versus individual use. This massive $400 difference between the one for organizations and the one for individuals. But welcome. First off, shout out to CM, Mr. Griffin. Shout out to CM Griffin. Runs a dope coding channel as well. Does a lot of JavaScript stuff. Builds a lot of cool applications. Real chill stream. We've rated a few times. Head over, give him a follow. It's good to see you. We're not quite as chill as your channel. One day I'm gonna work on getting as chill as your channel. I'm in Maryland. We don't quite. I can't be. Taking bong rips on stream. Maybe I can. It's decriminalized, but I don't think it's legal yet. Oh, it's still light outside. That's cool. But yes, welcome everyone from CM Griffin's channel. Good to have you. Come on in, relax, come rant with us about the cost of these toolbox subscriptions from JetBrains, and let's start some editor war conversations as well. But welcome. Thank you. Do you think Vim makes you better programmer sometimes? Bevy of codes? Yes, I do. Yes, I absolutely do. It is not, I don't think it makes you a more efficient programmer, but I think it makes you better sometimes, because I think it makes you understand. I think you have to have when you can't rely on the same tools, and again, a lot of times you can get the tools in place, but I think generally people who use Vim don't, and I think it helps. I think it removes some of the crutches for concepts and things that other people don't normally have to deal with, and I think it helps you understand kind of the I don't know, the flow and connection of your application a little bit better. I think it can, but I don't know. What's up? You got Sponge. Good to have you. Hope you're doing great. With him all day. I love it. I do. I'm gonna get amazing one day. The problem is, the biggest problem holding me back right now is my weak typing. I'm getting better. I actually am building a new keyboard, and I ordered 2 sets of keycaps. I'm going to first put on blank keycaps. I'm gonna put blank keycaps on it to hopefully help me get better at that. You know, this keyboard has helped. It's the same layout, so I'm not switching up layouts. I'm still gonna be using this, but I'm actually gonna be working out of my office a couple times per week, just because I'll be, you know, eventually I'll be going full time. Maybe I'm not. I'm going full time. So I'll be going full time on August 31st is my last day of work. September 1st is my date that I go full time, so I'll give more information about that as well. But I gotta get, you know, I want to be a pro typist. I want to be elite typer. It's gonna be great. Security, can we investigate deeper into encryption sometime? That is a great question. Yeah. I was not planning on that, but yes. So I'm not an encryption pro. But I know a bit about encryption. I would love to learn some more about encryption, and maybe I think I know someone who knows a lot about encryption. So maybe I'll have someone come school us on encryption, to be honest. Actually, that's a great idea. I'm going to write that down right here in my fancy dancy notepad, because I actually think that's an excellent idea. Encryption's pretty dope. Maybe, I'll see if he can come along. He knows all this stuff. All right, that's pretty dope. I like that. That's a great question. But yes, I can do some basics of encryption, a little bit deeper than the basics of encryption. I really like that. Can't let the SBA see you doing bong rips. I mean, that's true. I don't do bong rips. Not you know, not because I feel any type of way about it, but mostly because I would be afraid to go buy weed. I said it. You know, I watch a lot of movies. And you know, I'm not equipped for the drug dealing world. I don't know what to do. You know, excuse me, sir, may I have 2 drugs? Is that what you asked for? I don't know. You know, way off topic. But again, I want you to get to know me. I want you to understand who I am, so that if any situation ever comes up and says, would Aaron like that? Would Aaron want to do, would he want to do that? How would Aaron feel about this? And you would know, no, he would, but he would ask for 2 drugs, sir. That's what I would ask for, because I don't know. I definitely don't know. How do you feel about VS Code? I love VS Code. I think VS Code's amazing. I think VS Code's a phenomenal tool. I think that once GitHub opens up workspaces, I think VS Code goes to the next level. But yes, I think it is absolutely good. I recommend that is my recommended text editor / IDE, just because again, I think it's the best all-arounder. I think it also has extremely high potential, easiest to use out of the box, good performance. I think VS Code's great. I really do. Yes, I am. I'm having a pretty good day. Like I said, I think I told some people, I tweeted out earlier this morning, people kind of checked in on me. I appreciate that. This week's going to be a little bit tough week. I told you guys a little while ago, the dog is sick. Well, she got diagnosed with bone cancer at the beginning of this year. So she's feeling pretty bad. I think we're getting, you know, to around the time that, you know, we got to make some decisions. So I think it's gonna be a little bit of a tough week, but it's okay. Today was actually pretty good. You know, got to talk to a lot of people. I think sometimes you like to sulk in your own pain, and you know, you get out there, you talk to people, you appreciate the things that you have, you appreciate, you know, the dog still, she's okay, she had some fun with us today. You know, today is actually going pretty well. The week is, I'm looking forward to the week now, you know. I did have to look back, you know, you never know who's back there, you know. Sometimes you order the DVD when you went to order VHS. See, I can't make that mistake. I can't make that mistake. Yes, absolutely. I've been asked where to buy LSD at work. Yeah, sure. Probably somewhere not here. That'll be my only answer. I just don't know. I don't feel, I have no feelings. I don't care. I'll wait to disclose all of my feelings again. I'll wait till September 1st. We'll have a disclose. Aaron can disclose all of his feelings about every single thing. You can ask me literally anything. It's okay for me to say it, because again, I will be on my own. Yeah, sad news about the dog, but it's okay. You know, it really is okay. You know, she's happy, you know, for now. You know, she's having a little tough time, a little bit of pain, but you know, it's super common. Or she's a Rottweiler, super common in big dogs, and larger dogs, super common in Rottweilers especially. So, you know, just it's part of life. You know, you live and you love, and sometimes it's sad, but also a lot of times it's happy. So yeah. Yeah, so I think that was the last thing we were doing. So Inspector is what we covered. But again, CM, thank you for the raid. Appreciate you coming through. Everyone who came through with CM, good to have you. As we kind of wrap up, actually, if you all didn't know, we're wrapping up now an 8-week session in it's called Horizons: A Journey into Cloud Computing with AWS. We are this is the last actual topic night. We're actually doing a panel on Wednesday and Thursday, actually, to talk to some other individuals in the industry, where you can come ask whatever questions you want to ask. If you ever want to ask anyone about their journey in tech, what your journey into tech might look like, if you want to know, you know, what people from different places are getting paid, if you want to know, you know, where people think the industry is going, so maybe you can start looking at that stuff. If you want to, you know, get some kind of raw answers, come through, ask some questions, have some fun, you know, hear from other people other than me. You know, I love that I get to spend so much time with you all, but I think it's very important that you hear from people other than me. I hope people come through with, you know, differing opinions about what's exciting, what you should learn, because again, I think there's value in all of that. That's what we'll be doing. Rule's Privilege, Inspector. Oh yeah, next, CloudTrail. We looked at the GIF already, but how SQL injection, we didn't go in deep into SQL injection at all. We're just kind of highlighting it because this is mostly a kind of general AWS security thing. We just kind of are touching on these things. We didn't really go into it. We can talk about SQL injection though. We can, like I said, the person who I know who knows a lot about encryption knows a lot about security, period. So maybe we'll have him kind of start up some conversations for us around security, kind of deep dive into some of these bigger topics, and maybe we'll start a little series on security as well. Something that I need to learn more about, to be 100% honest. It is, I would say that networking is probably my weakest area for sure. I get by, for sure. You know, I know enough to pick up what I need to know when I need to know it. But I would say security is probably, out of all the things I can think of, security is probably second. I understand all the concepts. It's just, I don't know. It's just, I don't love it. And that's the only reason. It's not necessarily all that hard. It's just something I don't love. Encryption is my weakest area. Maybe encryption is my weakest area. I know about encryption. I understand, you know, KMS. I understand the things that I have available to me inside of services like AWS to allow for some great encryption and how I can use it effectively. But encryption itself, I can't, you know, and I don't know all that crypto stuff. I don't know it. Oh yeah, that right. Yes, please, Paige, do right. He can come in and tell us all. Actually, thank you, YGBSM. Thank you. That is that's perfect. That would be a great little collab here, because he knows everything. Now I might have to ask him to just tone down a little bit, just for I love Do Right. He's very passionate. I have to let them know the people here are just coming to get, a little bit of information about some encryption understanding. I've seen them go into some interesting rants, which I actually really liked. I learned a ton in Do Right's rants. I learned so much in the rants, but I'm always like, I'm not passionate enough about this stuff to care all that much. Yes. Yep. See, I actually like that. I'm running on Do Right. I like that. We'll see if Do Right is willing to come through and school us, because I'm always impressed about his security knowledge. He probably right now is, if he saw this right now, he probably like, man, these people are all gonna get hacked and I'm gonna do it. But what's up, XV Moose Trocity? Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. Good to have you. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the channel. All right, let's knock this out. Let's knock it out. Monitors. So CloudTrail. This monitors API calls within inside of the AWS platform. So earlier last week, I think we talked about CloudWatch, and people often get these things confused. So CloudWatch is actually a something that collects metrics about your AWS resources, things like CPU, things like traffic in and out, things, all that kind of stuff. But CloudTrail rather monitors API calls within the AWS platform. So when people are in the console and doing different things, provisioning resources, when people access things from the CLI, and if you want to be able to see who did what, this can help you trace that down. This can help you track what happened and when it happened. People call it, I think A Cloud Guru started calling it, the CCTV for your AWS account, that closed caption TV surveillance camera, basically, that's sitting around paying attention to exactly what's going on. And this is how you can find out what's going on and who did it, when they did it. And it is very important. It's not something that you're generally going to monitor, sit there and comb the logs every day. It's actually a little bit difficult to parse, to be honest. It can be kind of annoying, kind of weird. Generally, you use some other tools, which you're about to learn about, to help you with that. But yeah, CloudTrail, it leaves a trail. Everything you do in the cloud leaves a trail. We can actually head over to CloudTrail right now. Take a quick look, because we got a lot of time. Even though I want to give you back as much as possible. Tonight, we're gonna be done probably in the next 15, 20 minutes. And then tonight's gonna be a time to kind of get a head start on a lot of the questions and things that people want answered next time, or that you want me to answer. But there's not a ton here, but check this out. Look, there's these some recent events that are sitting here. So this is a dashboard. This is where you can find kind of your full event history of things that happen. But console login today, 6/22 at 5:05 p.m. So I logged in a little bit early, and and it says, hey, root logged in, event, this is the event ID. And you can see information about when this happened. My IP address, it shouldn't be showing my IP address on here, but not a big deal. I can actually get I have some fancy connections with inside of Comcast for this reason, because I screwed myself last year with this. But it shows your source IP address as well, like where it came from, so you can know where things came from. And I've shown you guys my IP address a few times. But you can audit things. You can audit what happened, when it happened. Again, it's really good. It's a trail of what happened. You can always go back and figure some stuff out. But yeah, a lot of stuff in here. There's important stuff in here as well. So yes, keep it around. You can put these logs into buckets, insights. You can find out information. You can find out information that's going on. You can parse some things as well using these insights to get some information. Different trails you can set up to send them out to different buckets for different things. And so you generally are going to keep these around, again, in case anything happens. In case 5 months down the line you find some type of major problem happen and you're trying to trace it back, and you go back you trace it down and you say, hey, this has been going on for actually 5 months, and I need to go back to see when this happened, who did this. You can actually go back and see that. So you'll keep these around in buckets. And these are just logs that allow for that. So CloudWatch allows you to watch metrics about your resources, the way that they are performance metrics, the ways that they are operating, whereas CloudTrail is the audit log. It's the way for you to see the API commands, the API interactions that happen within your AWS account. And again, a lot of people get confused when you talk about those API calls. Remember, I said the cloud. AWS, the cloud as a whole, is simply it's a bunch of infrastructure with a software layer over top, and that is the API. The API layer is just software sitting over top of physical infrastructure. So everything that you do in here, everything that you do from the command line is just making a bunch of these API calls. Not important that you know what an API is, but just know it's it's software listening for what you want. So so that's why when people read this, they're like, oh, like, I didn't know it does everything. I thought it only did API calls, because when you talk about APIs, people start thinking about, applications and these custom things that you wrote. Nope. All the stuff that happens inside of here is just making API calls to AWS constantly. So that's CloudTrail. Pretty dope. Pretty boring, but pretty powerful. I use CloudTrail often. How do we access assignments? So I gotta be honest, I've been pretty trash with the assignments. There are only a few. I have more that were sitting to the side that I did not include underneath things. I have a big 80 question exam for y'all though, which I am dropping, which I am going to be dropping. I should drop it tonight. I think it's set to drop on Wednesday, but I can drop that tonight. The only reason I didn't drop it sooner, because I wanted it to be midway. I wanted it to be at the midpoint, but I created it for some reason. I created it underneath my work email, like Google Sheets thing, and not Sheets, whatever the tool is for that, and I could not just import it in. I decided to kind of recreate all the questions, or at least I couldn't figure out how to do it. And then once it had taken me so long, I adjusted all of the questions. So now the end exam covers the entire thing, so it has questions about everything now, and that's why I didn't drop it a little bit sooner. I apologize for that again. I was a little bit ambitious this time around. I was like, I've already run a couple boot camps, it'll be super easy, I'll finish up everything, and I didn't. But if you're trying to get to the classroom period, you can go to the bottom and look at the cards underneath to be able to gain access to those things. Yes. But after CloudTrail, there's Trusted Advisor. So everyone, needs their own trusted advisor. If you don't know, hire someone that does. So AWS Trusted Advisor is a pretty, it's useful. I've never used it. I've never used their paid features. Whoops. Trusted Advisor. And it's a way for you to optimize security and performance. So there are some things in here that give you some recommended things to do, some recommended AWS security practices, best practices for AWS that allow for certain things, and you get a lot out of here. It's really nice. But these core features are free. Everyone has access to all of these things. Everyone has access to all of these things. You can go in and it'll give you recommended solutions, recommended mitigations for the things that are on this list. Really nice. If you were to pay, if you want to step up to the full Trusted Advisor suite of tools of service, what this does is this actually gives you an advisor, an actual trusted advisor. And what they'll do is you'll get all the features that are in the console. It'll be opened up to more granular things, but you'll actually get someone who knows AWS's best practices, understands these things. It'll be a solutions architect most likely, and they'll go through and they'll help you comb through all of your infrastructure to understand where you can not only mitigate security things, and so all of this is not just security. Security is cost, so ways you can save cost, compliance, all that stuff, all of the best practices that AWS has written all their sweet white papers on, and all this stuff. Someone will help you go through and identify areas where you can save money, where you can increase efficiency, where you can increase, how fast your applications are responding, scalability, accessibility, things like that. Accessibility as in people can access your web application, not necessarily, like 508 compliance, creating a better site for people with disabilities. It's not they will not help you with that. So I don't want you to think I don't want to give you false information. But yeah, it's only open to business and enterprise customers. And why is that? Again, it's because they are providing you they're providing you a person or people to help you with this stuff. So it's expensive for them. You know, and these enterprise customers are paying a lot of money and they want to keep them. So definitely, you know, you can't just get this yourself. But Trusted Advisor is something that you can use. You can go in and get some help and find out some things that you can do to make your infrastructure as ideal as possible. Doesn't mean it's right for you. Now, I want to be clear about that. Because these recommended actions are here does not mean these actions are right for you and your infrastructure. They are, again, just common security and optimization performance best practices for the cloud. Doesn't necessarily mean they are right for you. Seriously, we have to do something with your 3 classes. Pipelines, provide setup, horizon, product management. Oh yes, 200%, Aya, 200%. That was one of the biggest reasons why I was kind of struggling figuring out what to do in between here. We 100% 2000%. I can't wait till I have a little more time when I'm doing this full time to be able to kind of create more of the framework around implementing this stuff. Like learning stuff is cool, learning stuff is great, but the goal was always to learn this stuff through building, learn this stuff through big projects. The problem is that stuff takes a lot of setup and kind of understanding, like what can we do with that, what's feasible, what can we really do. And so all that's being brainstormed, and I'm no longer brainstorming that stuff alone, which helps a ton. But yes, I don't want to give too much off too early, but 2 big things are happening right now. One is that the boot camps are getting more structure around the operations of them. So we'll still have, like, not, the classes won't be, all right, sit down from 8:15 to 8:30 we're learning this, not that at all. We'll still be doing the same stuff, but like, again, the assignments, the quizzes and tests and stuff like that, it'll be more serious in that people can there'll be more opportunity to like do things outside, guidance outside of the actual class itself. And again, it'll also just be more legit overall. There'll be a way for you to show, working on ways for you to show your progress and that you went through this as well, which I think would be pretty good. But again, getting this to be more of a stable, structured approach, like an actual boot camp, is one of the things. The other thing is, again, those, like, setting up genuine reference architecture, real applications that you can apply real world concepts and things to be able to build with each other. But like also setting up frameworks for us to actually build brand new things together, I think is going to be very fun. And that is why I'm going to learn a lot from doing what we started to do during the first like week of quarantine, when we did Operation Quarantine. We started building that application. We're hopping right back into that. We're going to be trying to build that application together. I think there'll be a lot of learning coming out of what it's like to, dive into something that none of us really know what we're doing, and building and, getting from one state to another, and how you can like help people really learn through that process and allow everyone to be able to participate in their own way. So we're gonna figure all that out. But yes, 100%. If you have any ideas, if anyone has any ideas, please reach out. I'm open to anything and everything. So if you have any ideas of how you would like to see that happen, or something that you would even want to do, let me know. Like I said, people were talking, Mr. Syntax was talking about all the encryption stuff, and I think it'll be pretty cool. People drop DAOs now. I think it'll be really cool to have people come in and talk about some of those things and set up projects and cool things around all that stuff. Man, my camera does not like me tonight at all, but it's okay. We're pros at we learned how to fix a broken thing. Whoop, no, that's not it. Screen link, that's not it. Cam link. I have too many Elgato things. All right, excellent. There needs to be a service that identifies and deletes old and unused security groups. Frequency hop. I love that. We can 1000% do that. App that deletes. I love, oh man, you wealth of ideas. I also think it will be fun to, so I like that. I like kind of crowdsourcing these ideas as well. I know I do need a cron job for that. I might, or not a cron job. I have a stream deck right here. Maybe I'll just put a little button on there to like, you know, change my input and then change it to something else, or change the source and change something else in case anything like that does happen. I don't think there's any easy way to refresh, but yeah. Services under GCP and Azure are similar to AWS. Would you recommend learning those services such as Stack Driver on GCP? Yes. So the cloud has similar paradigms across the board. Each of them have different services and different ways that those services interact. But the concepts for the most part are the same. I do recommend learning other cloud providers, especially the big three. I think it's fine to go with any of them. You know, I think Amazon will have the most jobs available for you, but yeah, I think GCP and Azure are great tools to learn. I don't know a ton about either one. I've used both of them, you know, for little projects here and there, and I will be diving into both of them into the future. You know, AWS is not my it's the one that I know the most about, and that's the reason why we're using it kind of most of the time now with my limited amount of time that I can put together, you know, material and things like that. Got to go with the one that I know for now, but that will change. But yeah, I'd highly recommend that. But I really like that security groups thing. We can definitely do that. Small piece of track. Oh, track frame rate. I see. So I will say that a lot of devs do a lot of cool like Twitch integrations and stuff. I don't know anything about developing for Twitch. I know Twitch has a pretty cool API, but you know, I'm just not. I mean, I don't know. We'll dive into that. I think there's some cool things we can do with that as well. That I have some ideas. Maybe we'll just start a board of just stuff, and we'll start a repo with just cool stuff that we can vote on, that we can do. So with Callow. No, I love Callow. Callow is my boy. Callow Creations. I love Callow. 1000%. Maybe Callow can come through and help us do some dope stuff. You know, I like the collabs ideas as well. I think there's a lot of cool people in the section, CM, whoever, you know, whoever, Mr. Griffin, whoever knows, you know, all this stuff, who can teach me the ways. You know, I know a lot. You know, I'm not an expert, but I know a lot of things. Like you won't be teaching. I won't be all the way noobish. You won't be dragging me through. Like I'll understand. You'll show me, and I'll be like, okay, I can retype what you just typed. You know, okay. Yeah, we should have to do some of that. Is AWS expensive? It can be. So it can be very expensive, or it can be very cheap, depending on how you architect your applications, and that's what makes the cloud so interesting. So yeah, I mean, it can be very expensive, but it can also, you know, you can also have a site that serves millions of people per month, and you can spend $8. So yeah. Oh, with your new Diet Chromebook, the Ego. First off, welcome to Ego. I haven't seen your name pop up in a while. Oh, Duet, not Diet. I don't know what a Duet Chromebook is. Oh, that's fancy. I do like Chromebooks a lot, actually. They're, you know, most of the stuff you do is in the browser, especially, I'm telling you, I'm not joking. Once what's it called? Once GitHub releases work code spaces, GitHub code spaces. I'm not joking. One of the things that I'm going to start, like, I'm going to be taking my income. I'm taking income and like buying Chromebooks for people, so that like you can do it. Like you'll be able to do everything from here. I think it'll make it a little like you can already do dev from Chromebooks, but I think the amount of things that you need to do to do it effectively can be tough. You know, I could tell people about Cloud9 and AWS, but that costs money, or can cost money. I think this will probably cost a little money as well, but I think once this goes, you know, full time, like I think Chromebook, you know, that might be all you need. The tech lead that I learned so much from, the tech lead who was on my project before I was a tech lead, switched over to a Chromebook, the Chromebook Pixel. He got the best one, but he did all his development from, you know, from Cloud9, and he really subscribed to, you know, doing things through the browser. And, you know, you might worry about like, hey, if you don't have internet, like, what are you gonna do? And if you don't have internet, we can't really do our jobs, to be like honest anyway. So, you know, I guess it's fine. You can't do much local development or any local development, you know, if you're on the plane or something, but how often does that really happen? You know, if you're someone who travels a lot, maybe that's a problem, but you know, even when I'm on a plane, I'm actually a little too wide to, like, for Southwest planes at least, to pull down the thing and get my laptop there and actually type and flip up the screen. You know, I'm sitting a little too close to the stuff. So I don't know. It's an option for a lot of people, you know? It's definitely an option for a lot of people. Code servers is it's a different paradigm. It can work really well for a lot of people, but I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be picking up all the cheap Chromebooks and getting them to people who need them, because you know, I like how accessible these things are becoming. I'm still a fan of local development. I'm still a fan of the tools. I love tools. You know, I have a lot. I play with all the tools, but you know, this is going to be VS Code in the browser, and VS Code's great. It's what I recommend, so it's going to be pretty nice. Oh, I think that is it. What was the URL of that rep? That's exactly it. It is repl.it, repl.it, and you can just click start coding. So this is good for, I don't know, maybe if you sign up, you can, what's pricing on this? Oh, so okay, this will give you the same thing, but at a small cost. No problem. I think that's good too. I think paying that is fair. I think, you know, for what you have, you can access it anywhere. But yeah, whatever floats your boat. I wonder how much. I feel like Code Spaces is going to be like free for a good, like, I feel like what they're going to give you for free is going to be pretty extensive, because Microsoft can do that, and because again, the goal is to capture market share here, even though they already have it. The goal is to capture market share. But okay, back to security. We only have like 2 things left. We talked about Trusted Advisor again. Trusted Advisor, free for the basic stuff, the basic checks. It'll help you to be able to implement a lot of AWS best practices. If you are a business or an enterprise user, you can actually hire a trusted advisor who will help go over all of your infrastructure and identify points where you can optimize cost, performance, security, fault tolerance, service limits, all that stuff. So yeah, it can be a good tool. I've never used the paid one, as most people probably haven't, but yeah. Then we have Athena. Athena's an excellent tool. It takes a bit of knowledge to kind of get around and understand how to use it properly. But imagine, we talked about databases. We talked about relational databases, and that those databases use SQL to be able to, as a structured query language to be able to extract information. Athena allows you to use this SQL to analyze and query data that's in S3. So the thing about this is it's not a database. It is taking files out of S3. So generally, a lot of times this is logging information, and it allows you to be able to parse that data and get information out. It's really impressive. Like, it's really impressive for you to not have to stick the stuff in a database and to be able to get the information you need out of it. It's really great. It's good for parsing log data, CloudWatch, CloudTrail, VPC flow logs. Remember how I said, hey, like, what if you need to go back 3 months to find out, some anomalies in your CloudTrail data to figure out who did what? You can use Athena to basically find the information that you need. Or if you're trying to discover anomalies or you're trying to troubleshoot issues, like, it's so nice to do it, but it does take some, like, you got to mess with it. You gotta mess with it to learn how to use it properly. Query big data in S3 using SQL. So it's not only for it is not only for parsing logs. That's just a very common use case for it. But yeah, it's also I actually didn't know that you could analyze petabytes of data in S3 with no data warehouse. That's very interesting. I did not know that. I'm not a big data person. So it's interesting. You can use S3, as your data store, as your data warehouse, which is very, very interesting. Is Athena like MySQL Workbench? So yes, in that it is where you can construct your queries. It is where you can see that information. Yes, but MySQL Workbench is really just a tool set to help you query information in MySQL. So yes, actually, I guess it is very much like MySQL Workbench. That is a great, that's actually a great find there. It is like MySQL Workbench. You basically give it your data set, your S3 bucket or whatever. I mean, your S3 bucket, and you can go ahead and you can start to query data. But again, out of the box, you'll probably have to mess with it to understand how you can use it and what you can do with it. But it's a pretty cool tool. I didn't understand it when it first came out. And let me see, when it didn't come out, at least I feel like I started using it, or I heard about it maybe a year ago. It's probably been out longer than that. Came out in 2016, but I only heard about it like a year ago and a year and a half ago maybe. And once I saw it in action, once I saw, like, I had a lot of trouble parsing all of the data that we had from our CloudWatch logs in particular, and seeing how you could put together information in Athena to grab what you want using SQL. I think SQL is pretty cool. We need to do some kind of SQL workshop, but it was such a weird paradigm. It's like, hey, this is not MySQL. This is not a relational database, but I can do some cool stuff to get that information, and it's really fast as well, so it's really nice. Searching JSON or any type of files, yeah, you can search all kinds of stuff, all kinds of different data, CSVs, JSON, seriously all kinds of stuff inside of there. So it is pretty darn cool. Yeah, CSV, TSV, JSON, Parquet, I don't know what that is. ORC formats. Again, it's really, I'm telling you, it's really cool. It's as cool as it sounds. It's one of the few things that's been like, it's one of the few services that where I was really like, oh my gosh, like, Amazon, you have done something crazy. And again, I'm not a big huge data person, but I bet this is like, this line right here, analyze petabytes of data in S3, that feels like it sounds pretty enticing for people who deal with a lot of that stuff. Would be nice if you can redo everything Mongo Redis. Yeah, would be, definitely would be. I know one core is like $5, light sale is $350. Yeah, I haven't used Lino in a while, but light sale, that's an introductory price. It's probably gonna go back up to $5 as well. I think it's only for a couple months, I think, or 1 month or something like that. But I would check it out. But yeah, Athena is really cool. Again, we're talking about security portions of this. Athena does a lot. The thing in security that people use Athena for are to, again, get data out of, like, aggregating their log data and getting information about that using Athena. You can get a lot of insights from those logs using Athena, which is pretty dope. Pretty dope application. And then there's Macy. Generally on the exam, you'll need to know the difference between Macy and Athena. Not necessarily anything in depth about them, but again, Athena is used to be able to, again, query information using SQL out of S3. But Macy, really, on the other hand, which all you need to know about it is that Macy uses machine learning to discover and to find PII. So PII is personally identifiable data. So things like social security numbers, things like, phone numbers, names and stuff. Like it can find, it does its best to find those things and to identify them before they, get released or wherever your sensitive data may be. Helps protect those things. And so it does some scanning on your data sets. It does some scanning on your data to help you find those specific sensitive data items. Yeah, so I've never used Macy. I've never had the reason to use Macy. I have no idea how to use it. But so it looks like this does it across S3 buckets as well. So that may be the part where it's very confusing. I always wondered why when Macy came out, when they started talking about this again, like they always kind of talk about Macy and Athena together, and maybe it's because of the S3 bucket scanning or like going through S3 buckets, maybe. I'm not really sure. But if you work for an organization, a government organization, banking or something, I don't know, where you're handling PII, that personally identifiable information, Macy will help, I guess. Something to know about. That's really all you need to know about it. Like, you don't, from my experience, from what I saw at the practice exams, from what I saw, the A Cloud Guru said you need to know. I checked a couple different sources for these things. On the exams that I've taken, I purchased practice exams pretty often, like updated practice exams. I've never been asked anything specifically about Macy, besides besides what it is. And usually they'll throw in an answer that talks about PII data. Haven't seen anything with S3 yet, so I don't know. Config is on there. Config is on there. Maybe that's something we should. Man, I can't believe I left that out. Actually, config is in fact on there. Yeah. Well, so that's Macy. Maybe I'll add a config slide here really quick. AWS config is actually it's a lot. It's actually on later exams a lot, at least from, again, so far from my experience. They do ask about it in I think I've taken 3 different cloud practitioner practice tests, and they asked about AWS config on all of them, actually. So thank you, Frequency Hop, for bringing that up. Yeah, so I was just wondering where I would have stuck this, and I guess this is where I would stick it, to be honest. So maybe it's good that we're covering it here, because this is this is kind of the compliance piece. We talked about this compliance piece. So AWS config provides an inventory of your AWS resources and history of configuration changes. So like CloudTrail, this is more so for the changes in your actual resources rather than AWS API calls. This will show you kind of those things. You can set up. So compliance, we talked about compliance in the beginning. Compliance is, how are you keeping your things in accordance to what is required via, company requirements, via legal requirements, things like that, and making sure you're keeping up to date on those things. So it allows you to, again, set up some rules, set up, all these things to make sure your things are in order, to make sure that things are configured, they're configured accordingly. It also gives you that history of things that have changed, which is really, really nice. AWS config is pretty cool. What's interesting is, as good as AWS config is, I've never had to use it yet, surprisingly. And I've worked in a couple of pretty large scale AWS instances, and I think that might be why I forgot about it, to be honest. Why I never think about it. I've never had to use AWS config. I've never had to use Macy either, but Macy has a interesting name, and then it makes me remember. But yeah, AWS config, that's basically what it is. Again, for all the exams, I've never been asked anything specific about this. It's mostly like, hey, what is AWS config? It'll probably be a bigger part of the AWS Solutions Architect Pro exam. So I probably should pick that up, to be honest. But yeah. Yep. That was a good call out there. Yeah, provides inventory. Again, it helps you with that, helps you automate a lot of that compliance, customize those things and automate that compliance. So kind of the same way that Inspector will do that for EC2 instances, AWS config will allow this on a larger scale, for other resources and things inside of your AWS environment. I actually think that we do use AWS config, but we have a dedicated infrastructure team that handles that. So I've been, haven't got my hands on this yet. So cool. That's about PHI. Rollers, what is PHI? And whenever people ask me questions like that, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like you're setting me up for a joke. But it's okay. If you are, please make it funny. If you're not, then please tell me what PHI is. I don't know what PHI is. Taking a week off, first vacate for 2020. Amazing. Enjoy the time. Like, gotta take time for yourself. I've been trying to explain tools like Jira, Gitflow, Ansible, automation lately. Yes, all great tools, all serve different purposes. The tool fatigue can get pretty annoying. Person health information. No, I haven't seen any questions about PHI. That is something that, so I think PHI will probably fall under PII, to be 100% honest. All those HIPAA things, that might be something you would want to use Macy for. There's also a number of like packages for different languages and stuff that can help you discover that stuff as well. But yeah, there's a whole I think there's a whole rule set for HIPAA compliance for AWS config, to be honest, that you can kind of base yourself off of. I think AWS has some structured HIPAA stuff as well that they can include with you for in the trusted advisor section as well, I believe. For anyone who doesn't know, HIPAA is kind of the rules surrounding the way data for healthcare is managed, and what your responsibilities are as an organization, and the way that you keep that data, and the way that you transfer and transmit that data as well. I'm gonna see if I can remember what it's called. I think it's the Health Information Privacy Act. That's what it is. The HIPAA. What is it? Health Information Privacy Accordance Act. Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Way off. Wasn't even close. I got health right. That's and I got act right. Yes, I got two out of, we're gonna get rid of the and. So I got 2 out of 5, pretty close. Still a failing grade, but a valiant effort. That's how I feel about it. Every time, seriously, every single time since the first time I heard it, I picture Hippo, to be honest. So for you who don't know, my very first job was actually, not my very first job. My very first job was a janitor at my high school. I was supposed to be a student aide, but I was a janitor and a handyman who did all kinds of stuff. I laid a concrete path, not knowing how to lay concrete. I laid aluminum roofing. I chipped it. I did a lot of stuff. My first internship, which I consider maybe my first real job, it was paid. That was a job to me. Was at the National Institutes of Health and their Center for Information Technology. And I had to learn a lot about HIPAA that summer. And it was pretty interesting. You become a HIPAA expert, people will pay you a lot for it, to be honest. HIPAA's pretty darn important. 2 out of 5 is MLB MVP number. See, there we go. It's all about framing. It's all about, perception, and perspective of what you're doing. 2 out of 5 is perfect, really, really good. But that's all the stuff here, a lot of different tools and services. Again, if you want to, I highly recommend you go check out this security and compliance service list. All this stuff's not important for the exam, but it's good to know as many services as you can. Really just understand their differences. Kind of have a general understanding of what they do and a little bit about their differences. There's a lot of extra stuff in here. Things like Cognito, really good tools, not important for the cloud practitioner exam. Cognito is like a kind of a pool for user auth. It's really nice. It's pretty cool if you're trying to make some. We are for sure going to use Cognito in a project. For auth is a very interesting thing if you've ever had to implement authentication. I actually want to do I want to learn auth better. I've seen a bunch of implementations of it. I think it's a very interesting concept. And in my mind, it shouldn't be as difficult as it is. Legitimate secure authentication is much more difficult than to implement than I feel like it should be. And I really want to know, I want to understand why, to be 100% honest. But there's a bunch of other stuff in here. Kind of reference the notes that we have here, reference the slides, and just check out the ones that we have on here. If you want to know a little bit more about them, I would highly recommend you read a little bit more about them. Just check them out. Tons of services. You'll never know all of them. I don't know what at least a third of these services are, to be honest with you. So don't stress out over that. No big deal at all. But tangible takeaways for the night, real quick. But we'll do tangible takeaways, and then I will we'll talk about something else. Tangible takeaways for tonight is security in AWS is important. We've already learned over the course of the bootcamp that there are a number of different ways we can implement security. One of the first ways we learned was with IAM. So we didn't cover IAM tonight, but IAM is identity and access management. That is where we can manage access to our AWS account, both programmatically and through the console, and what services can interact with each other and how. So that's kind of your first line of defense. or one of your first. We learned that even EC2 instances had things like security groups that allowed for you to allow traffic in and out. There are cool web ACLs for VPCs and things like that that you can do as well. But we learned about the shared security model, shared responsibility model, not shared security, shared responsibility model, which is basically the notion that, hey, you and Amazon are in this together, and it is up to both of you to ensure that these things are secure. And the shared responsibility model outlines what's your responsibility and what's Amazon's responsibility, so you can be confident about that. So I would check that out. That will come up on the exams for sure. Learn about the OSI model tonight. Again, check it out. Let me give you a link. Well, we'll do that at the end. I'll give you a link to the OSI model. I'll put it in Google Classroom. Read over it, watch a video, see if you can understand it a little bit. Again, you won't become a pro at it in a day at all, but again, just get a little familiar with it. So the next time you hear it, next time someone refers to something on one of the layers, you'll be like, oh, this person said this is on layer 4. I don't know what layer that is offhand, but maybe I can go look it up, and it can start to put some context around the things that you're learning. We learned about, a couple different types of attacks. We learned about DDoS, just kind of what it is, and there's so many other attacks that we're not covering now. Man-in-the-middle attacks. Again, we never dove into cross-site scripting. We never dove into SQL injections or anything like that. But there are lots of different types of attacks, and all these services help stop different things. But we learned about DDoS attacks because Amazon has some cool tools specifically for that. And the tool that is designed for DDoS protection is AWS Shield. And we learned that Shield is free with CloudFront and Route 53. But if you want more advanced Shield protection, there is Shield Advanced. And this is for, it's $3,000 a month. You got to commit for 12 months, which is interesting. But for enterprise users, it's really great and provides you some pretty serious DDoS protection. So you don't have to worry about that. What else did we learn about? WAFs. We learned about those web application firewalls where you can set up rules and ACLs that help you defend against common, vulnerabilities for your application that operates on layer 7. And it's worried about your application. Again, those things like cross-site scripting, those things like SQL injections, this will help with that. You can use this for geofencing, for keeping people out. There's a lot of cool things you can do to stop people from performing certain actions with this web application firewall. We also learned it was a bit expensive. So again, it said it's kind of for the enterprise user. There's probably other options for you to be able to handle some of that other stuff in case you really need it. What else? Rule of least privilege. Again, give all of your different resources only access to the things that they absolutely need, that's essential for them to perform their job, and nothing more. So check that out. Again, there are more concepts to the rule of least privilege than just this, but this is the main concept, and this is the one that I want you to know about. Not on the exam at all. It's just it's a good practice inside of AWS. The granularity of AWS's security posture it allows for this. IAM allows you to define access to just about anything. So I would, do your best to practice that. Inspector is going to be the thing that runs on your servers. It's going to be you have to install an agent. It's going to be like your antivirus that can check for both security and compliance. It's going to generate a report for you. CloudTrail, API calls. If you want to know who did what inside of your Amazon account and when, you can use CloudTrail to see that. It's like the CCTV. It's the surveillance camera that's watching what happens inside of your account. Trusted Advisor. It's a tool that'll help you be able to optimize costs, optimize performance, scalability, fault tolerance, and security practices as well. And you get a lot of that for free out of the box. There's a bunch of best practices that'll help you implement or guide you to implement. And if you need more than that, you can get the full feature set, which basically is going to have you hire someone from AWS to go through your infrastructure and to look through and make sure everything's good and help you get your stuff into the place that you feel it needs to be. But it's only available for business and enterprise customers. So, us little peons down here, we don't have access to Trusted Advisor yet. But sure, Athena, pretty dope tool to allow you to be able to run SQL queries against things in your S3 bucket, different data sets, different pieces of data. For security, this is really good for parsing log data Today we found out, so that log data like CloudWatch, CloudTrail, VPC flow logs, there's a bunch of different log types you can use. But we also learned that it's good for, data warehousing without a data. It's good for parsing things, petabytes of data without a data warehouse, which is pretty interesting. Pretty exciting tool. Really steps out of the paradigm of what most people know. And then Macy is basically a tool that scans your S3 buckets for PII data using machine learning. So if you're collecting anything that may contain PII data and you want to make sure your stuff is secure and that you're not, exposing this stuff, every month you hear about a new company who, dropped your data, who lost a bunch of your data. Macy will help you at least identify where those things are and things you can do to be better with them. So a lot of tools. A lot of tools. There you go. I didn't cover it, but let's check this out. Let's Google this real quick. I really like this. Oh my gosh. This, I wonder if this has to do with that hard drive I was telling you guys about. I feel like that's what it is. So let's see. Let's change it to screen link and back to cam link. And I'm back. 100%. I'm back. I got to add that button. But AWS DDoS. I'm interested to find out what they mitigated. AWS said it mitigated a 2.3 terabit per second DDoS attack, the largest ever. That is a lot of data, a ton of data. So this may break my stream. This may break my stream real quick, but I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a speed test. I'm gonna do a speed test real quick, and we're gonna get, I'm gonna get that's actually pretty slow for what I usually get, and hopefully it doesn't shut everything down. But I'm gonna get gigabit speeds. All right, at the max, I'm gonna get 1 gigabit per second, 1 GPS. Okay, but I got 915 meg. Okay, this is what's gonna break my stream right now. So let me stop it now so that the upload isn't super messed up. Upload is what's gonna kill the stream. 2.3 tera. So I never know if it's terabytes or terabits. Let's see. Because there's all is it terabits? Yes, tera. What? Come on, no. See, I said I don't know, and when I Google it, they give me both. But terabits per second, or 1 trillion bits or bytes per second. What? Oh. So terabits. Okay, got it. Terabits is 1 trillion bits. So that's 1 trillion bits per second. Terabytes will be. That makes sense. We Googled it, and now I'm smart. It clicked. It just clicked. It clicked which one's which. All right. Terabytes, 1 trillion bytes per second. We learned about bytes inside of Decoded. Go back if you want to check that out. Yes, 1 byte is 8 bits. So 8 bits that it's talking about over here equals 1 byte. So this is essentially 8 times the data basically. But also what we learned that was more important than that is that half of a byte is a nibble. Okay, it's a nibble. Half a byte is a nibble, and that is information that you surely need to know, that you were really going to fail at your career by not knowing. So now you know, and you are welcome. But yes, T is big B is for bytes, little b is for bits. That makes the most sense. It's extremely logical, and it is a pattern that my brain never caught on to. So thank you. You really opened up. This is I'm not joking with you all. This is equivalent to you all teaching me which slash was which slash. Again, I was really struggling versus this slash, and how do I do the other one and this one? And you all told me that imagine this was a little person standing there, and this is obviously a forward slash because they're leaning forward, and this is a backslash because they are leaning backwards. And I was like, boom, that makes sense. You anchor their feet, lean back. Both ways are doing. The Annie, are you okay? Forward and backwards. Super nice. But that really helped me. It really helped because look at this. This is a backslash. In my mind, it's sloping down. It's a forward slash. It's sloping forward. you know? And then, but like, I could also see this sloping forward too. There were both forward slashes. There was no backslash. Basically, in my mind, there were only forward slashes. So I was always confused. So I really, this terabytes, this bits and bytes, terabytes, petabytes, you have now, you know, I now understand. I think, seriously, I thank you so much. It helps so much. No one's half the battle, always half the battle. Orbit equals moon, orbite equals, see, I don't know, I can't tell if you're trolling me, but, oh man, that's, I've never heard of orbite. See, now I gotta, you know, I never know. Orbite, nothing came up. Ooh, oh no, I see I have orbit. See, I feel like I've been trolled. Or did it autocorrect? Orbite. You got me. It seemed right. It was right. I'm going with that. I'm telling people that first off. My kids are gonna, whenever I have kids, they're gonna believe this. They're gonna 100% believe orbite, and I'm gonna send them into school with so much confidence to tell their science teacher this. It'll be funny. They'll get Fs, but it'll be funny. Search orbite meme. Orbite meme. So this makes perfect sense, you know. Orbit or bite, that's good. Not sure if a bit happier or bite happy. These are great, these are excellent, but I like that helps a lot. Nibble or word, look some difference between nibble and word. Yeah. that's fair. 2 megabytes equals 4 billion. Or 4 million. That makes sense. I think, I don't know if the math is right on that, you know, but it feels like it would be not 4, maybe, because it's only 1,000. So I feel like it would be 4,000 nibbles, but I don't know. No idea. There's a car fuse box that counts how many times in short circuit after it happens 250 times. Permanently disables the lamps. You have to take it to get a service, which is normally just resetting the counter. That's cool. That's good to know. I didn't know that. Orbite meme is awesome. I just picture sparkling teeth thing. Yeah, that's good. And see, this is why I fell for that. I really, you know, it made sense. It was like orbit, you know, around the moon, you know, moon focused. Or I'm not an astronomer. I'm not a astrophysicist, even though I said that one day I'm going to do a little research on the spaces, the space. Is that how you refer to the entirety of space? Is it the space? You can't say the space. Is the space. That's how you have to say it. And I'm gonna learn about the space one day, and all of its glory. And I'm gonna learn about quasars, sun flares, and Saturn rings and dust. Yeah, I'm gonna learn about all that stuff. I'm gonna be smart. I'm gonna be real smart about the space, about the space. And then you guys are gonna be like, man, he knows about computers, he knows about the space. And then I'm gonna look like The Rock at the same time. So you can be like, when does The Rock learn about the space and computers? And it's just gonna be I'm gonna end the evolution. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be, you know, I'm gonna become what I said I would become. Oh, Mr. Primigan, 2 million nibbles. Well, I don't even know. I saw the 2 mil nibbles and did not see your name. Equals 1 megabyte. So this is true. So 2, you know, you nibble enough times, you get 1 meg. And that means, you know, you don't even have enough space to save your resume. You need more space. What's up, Sayuko? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for the follow. Good to see you, Prime. Shout out to the Prime again. I don't know if it's Prime again or Prime again. I'll never know, even though you say it every time on YouTube. But you know, I never remember. I'm never gonna remember. It's okay. It's okay. It's one of those things that I gave up on. Prime again. There we go. Shout out to Prime. We head over there a lot. I told everyone that my struggles with Vim right now are simply that I still suck at typing. I'm better at typing, but I still suck at typing. I just ordered all the parts for a new keyboard. I have blacked out keycaps, no writing on them, so that I'll be forced to actually learn how to type properly, and then I'll be extra fast. And then I'll be a Vim champion because I'm committed. You know, I'm on a journey to Vim goodness. You know, I'm good. I'm good. I can get by, but I'm not great, and I want to be one of the greats. I definitely want to be one of the greats. But that's it. We learned, you know, I think that's everything that we need to know. We've kind of wrapped up. You guys know everything about the cloud now. Well, not everything about the cloud, but I hope you're introduced heavily to the cloud. I'm hoping that you are more comfortable understanding what the cloud does and the pieces that are available, and what kind of problems you can solve with it. So, you know, we started from the beginning. We learned about a bunch of the resources that it has. Now, we have not learned about all the services. Like I said, you probably won't learn all the services. You don't need to know all the services, but what you should have now after this past 8 weeks is an understanding of some of the things that you can do. We've hosted websites. You've learned how you can host a website in a couple different ways. You know, whether or not you're going to run it behind a web server on EC2, or you're going to stick it in the S3 bucket because it's a static site. We've learned those things. There are many more ways to do this, but you've learned about the different tools that you can grab from AWS, put them together, and be able to build out a solution. Now, you probably need to get some context around, you know, what web applications look like. What are the pieces of a web application? How many different services would I really need to be able to service an organization? Like, how many of these services would you really need? And that is what part 2 of this is going to be. Not part 2, the journeyman level of Horizons is going to be that. It's going to be diving into more AWS resources, more AWS services, but also getting more hands-on with the ones that we've already used, a lot more CLI stuff, but also, again, contextualizing, seeing an application that's running on EC2 connects to a backend database inside of RDS, but also, you know, grab assets out of S3, and how those things really work together to create a grand solution. Is what we'll be learning. So again, keep an eye out for that. The schedule for when all that's going to release is going to be coming up soon. It's not going to be that long at all. But there's going to be some stuff in between there. Again, the stuff that's going to be in between there is there's going to be a whole Linux section. There's going to be like a 3 or 4 parter, not really sure yet, 3 or 4 parters on Linux and getting comfortable with the command line. So really kind of diving in. Might even make it a little bit longer, to be honest, depending on kind of how it shakes out when I'm, you know, putting the stuff together. There will be one on containers as well during this time, and we'll be diving into pipelines. We'll be starting pipelines back up. So if you want to learn a little bit more DevOps stuff, and actually it actually feeds heavily into the stuff that we're going to be learning in the second portion of this. You know, stay tuned for that. Pat yourselves on the back. First off, you got through all the information. You got through all the classes. We still have one more, but that's going to be the fun stuff. That's going to be, you know, come in, ask questions, have a good time, make some jokey jokes. Also, please, since you guys love to troll me, please troll the people that are going to be on the panel as well. That you know, I'm going to let them know that I gave you guys free range to also tell them about Orbytes. I'm going to talk about Orbytes with them because I'm sure they did not know that's what, you know, that was a thing. But yeah, that we'll be doing that on Wednesday. Come check it out. It'll be pretty exciting. We might have someone from AWS on there. I dropped the ball. Well, we dropped the ball. I messaged him a long time ago about it. He responded. I responded. He didn't respond for a while, and then he responded to me, and then I was busy, and I didn't respond for a while, and then I kind of responded to him, and then we've just been missing each other. He may be on, he may not. I've reached back out. Maybe not. But there are other really dope engineers who have been dealing with this stuff for a long time, and some who are brand new to this. I think that is super interesting as well. People who you know, who got their cloud practitioner cert, people who have someone who has their solutions architect pro cert. So, you know, different organizations, different roles. So come ask your questions. It'll be pretty fun. And then again, on Thursday will be the one for software engineering for the Decoded class. Tomorrow in Decoded, we're finishing up by handling errors. We probably should have done this sooner. I don't really know why I pushed this to the end. Doesn't really matter. The order fine. But we're gonna be learning how to handle errors tomorrow. And then we'll be again having the panel with some software engineers of different levels on Thursday, and that'll wrap up these. I'm probably gonna take half of next week off, like probably like the Monday and the Tuesday, and then we'll hop back in. Like again, I'm gonna release the schedule, but then we'll probably hop back in mid next week with some things. Saturday will probably be back on the table at a different time. But yeah, all that information again is coming out pretty soon. But I might, like I said, I'll probably take 1 or 2 days off. But that's about it, you know. And then we'll start building some stuff. We'll start getting some pipelines back on, and it'll be exciting. And I'll be learning a little bit more about. I'm gonna go do some research on these orbites right now. I'll give you 11 minutes of your life back. Ooh, Orbit subnet mask is Starlink. See, we need to make a whole entire glossary for all of the troll terminologies that we bring up, so that when people Google search these things, the way I Google searched it, we didn't find anything. But how great would it be if when they did, they got real information from Google back? I love it. You know, we can take trolling to the next level, and I think it'll be exciting. But that's it for tonight. Who are we going to head over to see tonight? Where are we gonna go? Let's see. Alt F4. Might head over to Alt F4. Let's check out someone. It's always tough every time we get in here nowadays, and we're looking for people with really low viewers. It's always tough. It's always really tough. Sheep moved again. Oh, okay. Coding. All right, YGBSM. Peace out. Have a great night for everyone who's out. Who's getting out of here. Python live coding. Is this problem is see, that's not English. And you know, the only reason I don't want to go to a Portuguese stream or a different stream is because I want you to be able to interact and possibly stick around. So I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Grandmas with guns. That's so enticing. It's really enticing. But let's head over to Phil Nash. Let's head over to Phil Nash, who's doing some dope stuff with TypeScript, because TypeScript is cool. I'm gonna be learning TypeScript. We're actually gonna be doing some TypeScripty stuff with this application because I like statically typed languages, and JavaScript is not that. And TypeScript helps me think when it comes to JavaScript. I really like the paradigm of it. So let's head over to Phil Nash. Say what's up. Everyone have a great night. Enjoy some time with your family. Congratulate yourself. Go to your, if you have a significant other in the house, if you have a cat or a dog, anyone who's around, call someone up and say, hey, I just really finished Mastermind, the apprentice level of Mastermind Academy, and you should say congratulations to me and clap for me and give me a balloon. And if they need to call me, give them my number, and I will say, hey, this is correct. They finished. You should be proud of them, and it'll be great. But seriously, congratulations. Great job. You are 8 weeks smarter than you were 8 weeks ago. So, it's always a good thing. Keep building, take your time, keep building, come on through and ask some questions, really, don't let this opportunity pass you by. I think it's all, I love talking to other engineers about their journey and what they think I can do to be better. So you should do that too. Let's head over to Phil Nash, say hello, learn a little bit about TypeScript. I'll see everyone tomorrow or on Wednesday. Peace out.